trendies and posers showing off about their designer furniture or their postmodern bijou loft apartment, and you simply don't know what any of them are on about?
We've finally got our hands on a Mies van der Rohe original chair. Of course, it's far too precious to actually sit on.
I hear that Philippe Stark is the eclectic.
And the trouble is, any second now, someone's going to ask you what you think, and you don't have a clue.
And what do you think?
Well, that's where we come in. Design is officially important, and for some reason everything, from chairs to buildings via coffee makers, has to be designed. It's the law.
Good design is appropriate design.
God, it said, built heaven and earth in 7 days. And that was a do-it-yourself job. We mere mortals, on the other hand, have to deal with architects and designers to make and shape our world. And that's where the trouble starts.
My most favourite tray of all.
Design should just be something that is there to make life lovely.
The designer today is some posturing twit.
A chair needs to be sat on, not just looked at. What are they doing?
You can't have hanging baskets. You see, you've got it all wrong.
I like the cat flap. You know, a cat can get through it, but a burglar can't get through it.
Corbusier, he's an architect, isn't he? Is he? I don't know. Don't leave this funny, I'll look like a right knob.
Perhaps, what do you think about the kitchen? Well, it's fabulous.
It's not done yet.
I mean, an interior designer might have taken months to get it to look this good.
Years ago, when I first became an interior designer, dinner parties in Fulham, people say, "What do you do?" And I say, "An interior designer." And they go, "Eh, what, you're someone that moves people's furniture around for them." And you go, "Well, yeah." And that is it, basically.
Somebody who can rag roll an old Irish dresser calls himself, you know, a designer today. And he is, but in a very frivolous and insignificant way.
Interior design caught on like a virus, and otherwise sane, normal, well-balanced people jumped on the bandwagon called changing rooms and invited interior designers into their home to pull them all apart against the clock and then sort of put them back again, but with a lot more twigs, candles and spray-on paint. They should have come with a government health warning.
I don't believe in shortcuts. There aren't any shortcuts to these things, not to doing things properly. You know, some people, they put tiles on top of tiles. You can't do that. You've got to take the original tiles off and then put the new ones on.
I think that houses are like people, and they actually do have a soul. So too much ripping up of your house, I think, is like too much plastic surgery. You know, like you see women sometimes and it's gone terribly wrong and they look kind of like... You can do that to your house as well.
There are a lot of people who are involved in these shows that really should be forced to come onto national television and admit that they have done some terrible things in the name of DIY.
Taste in this country had always been used as a great social control, that the posh had good taste and, you know, everybody else didn't. Actually, Changing Room said, listen, it's not actually about that. It's about, you know, people having different ideas. So quite sneakily, it did ignite a bit of a blue touch paper when it came to taste.
It ignited a lot of other coloured touch papers too, because expensive interior design means expensive designer paints. It's no good just thinking, I know, what about doing that wall red? Now there are more paint colours to choose from than numbers in the phone book. You could spend a whole weekend working out what shade of red you like. Actually, you can't call it anything as helpful as just red anymore. Bring back the trusty magnolia, we say. Life was so much simpler.
It's actually magnolia sales are plummeting to be replaced by Kelly Hoppen's string, or Farrow and Ball, you know, bogey, or, you know, toe cheese. All of these, you know, shades of off-white, which are called increasingly unpleasant things.
I think it's just too easy nowadays to paint things white. That's clinical and cold, very Damien Hirst. It's so over. I mean, white is. So I think you need some vibrancy, but you don't want it like trying too hard, like the wrong red.
Paint is very difficult because, for starters, they give paint stupid names. Instead of sort of saying grey, brown, yellow, orange, names that we recognise and understand. I know that some of our cupboards at home are tarlatan. Well, what's all that about? We've got a downstairs bathroom that is euphorbia. It's snot green, actually.
If you want to buy into this sort of faintly, you know, upend, simplistic, ruralised existence, then do paint your room with string, if you want to. Gusset, now there's a colour.
And you can forget some nice knickknacks on the mantelpiece, because interior design means that we all now have to be decluttered. Our houses and our lives have to have the look, the one they decide to impose on us.
My code for interior design is get your light sorted out first, and symmetry. Things have got to be in relationship to everything else. An item must be in relationship to this item, must be in relation to, but that's not like equal. And also have everything in threes. Never have 2 things. You can have 5 things or 3 things. Odd numbers, very important.
Chuck out that chintz, come on, do it today.
The way design works, of course, is that one day they make us buy chintz, and the next day they tell us chintz is pants. Rubbish, get rid of it, or you'll look like a loser. In other words, they make us change it all the time. Clever or what?
We're crazy for it now, aren't we? We're crazy for doing our houses up and making them, you know, we spend fortunes on going to, I don't know if we can say the name of the superstore, but it's the Swedish one. Problem with it is, it's like a theme park. You go from bed world to sofa world, and you just go round, and this preordained path that you have to go with the knowledge inside that. At the end of it, it'll be all right, because I'll get the 29p hot dog.
You walk in there, and you can afford everything. I love it. I mean, look, that's the same with Argos, but you don't want everything at Argos, you know, and you don't want everything at IKEA, but it just makes the posh things that you see in posh places affordable, and I love that.
But no one has ever gone into IKEA and with the feeling that, my God, you know, my life is now going to be better. No one goes to, I suspect not many people go to bed dreaming about one day acquiring a Habitat teapot, but absolutely no one goes to bed dreaming about one day having to do a bit of self-assembled IKEA furniture.
Everybody gets very snobby about IKEA. No, in a sort of inverse snobby way, they go, well, you know, it's absolutely, IKEA's marvellous, marvellous, buy IKEA, but of course, we then change the handles.
I think the state of the interior industry is fantastic at the moment. There is so much stuff you can actually buy, whether you go shopping at the high end at SCP or Vitra, or go right down to IKEA, you know, and Habitat and everything in between. We've never had it so good.
The other thing that everyone gushes on about is minimalism, assuming they can say it. What is it except empty? Very empty, in fact.
The latest, biggest trend, and the one that's most prevalent is minimalism, isn't it? Which, when you see pictures in these, you know, style magazines, and they go, and this is Yakshi Barahashi's minimalist flat, and you look at it and think, oh, he can't afford furniture.
Well, they don't fool us. Surely no one normal can live like this without any sign of human habitation at all. It's all stuffed under the settee, everything. Their whole messy, untidy lives under the cushions. Even the kids are under there.
You can tell a lot about a person by what their environment looks like. And you go to someone's house and everything's white. What is that all about?
I wouldn't want to live in a minimalist apartment. I really would, you know, feel... And I don't like... I'm quite particular about how, you know, what I'm surrounded by sort of furniture and paintings and stuff. Stuff around me is quite important.
I could live in a minimalist situation, but I would have the odd Kleenex, obviously, and bin liner, because whoever you are, there is excretia, there is rubbish, there is stuff to get rid of.
You see these minimalists, they're all very white and simple and clean, and it's nice and it looks good, but you can't sit there watching, you know, another 48 hours with a packet of Doritos, can you? It just doesn't fit in, does it? You have to sit and watch Polish cartoons, I would imagine, or just sit there going,
Minimalism works for me because I've got sort of clutter in my head along with the voices. We've changed lifestyles for a very, very modern house, and it's like we pretend we've got this sort of really rather pristine lifestyle, you know, and everything's quite neat and tidy and all this sort of thing, and then we have a filthy secret, and I have the key in my bag, and now and again I go to the lockup and I open it, and there's all the crap still there, piled up to the ceiling, boxes and boxes and furniture and old rocking horses and dolls' house, just all the rubbish is there. Sometimes it's just nice to go, oh, hello, rubbish, and close it down again. Go back to the little white box.
Now for some clever information stuff on some of the heady principles of design. Modernism, the architectural style of the 20th century. But what on earth is it?